Welcome to the Breeder's Brew, the dog breeding podcast hosted by myself, Sara, the canine family planner,
and me, Isobel, the canine nutrition coach.
We're promoting responsible breeding by unpicking the minefield of breeding myths and methods for owners wishing to expand their whelping wisdom. So we are back for another day. Day 6. Yes, another lesson that we want to share with you. Shall I lead this one, Isabel?
Well, yeah. Have you got something that springs to mind for you, Sara? I've certainly been reflecting.
Well, only because I recently have done this, and I'm sure I will continue to do it going forward. One of the underpinning sort of cornerstones of the pup life pathway is about safeguarding, and that in all respects, breeding your female, raising the puppies, but also yourself, which is, I guess, a lot of some of the self-care stuff that we've talked about, but also the boring stuff, the paperwork. How do you safeguard your dogs, your puppies, stud contracts, all of the things when it comes to paperwork? And it's always a massive conversation online of whether puppies should be going to their new home with puppy contracts, which they should, because a puppy contract isn't necessarily a sales contract. And that actually took me a while to understand. But a puppy contract sets out kind of what we talked about yesterday, about the boundaries of what you think a puppy owner should be doing, the boundaries of what a breeder should, the expectations of what they should have done, and how you expect that puppy to be looked after going forward. So it's boring. Paperwork is boring. Dog people, I find, particularly don't like paperwork. We're quite practical, hands-on people, which is probably why we love our dogs so much in the first place, because they get us out the house, meeting people. So to sit down at a PC and try and type a contract out seems like one of the most boringest things in the world. But this year, or last year, shall I say, I have had a huge overhaul of not only my website and the text that's on there, but also my puppy contracts, also my emails, because that's still text and needs to be written in a way that people understand what I do and why I do it, and why I act how I do. A key one for me has been learning the difference between whether somebody's leaving a deposit on a puppy, whether it's a holding fee, whether it's what was the other one? Was it a reservation fee? I can't remember. But they're all very much different things. And we're saying the majority of people go, oh, they've left a deposit. But that is different to leaving a holding fee. And it can sometimes make the difference between whether the puppy's born or not, whether they've picked a specific puppy or not, to what that is, because that will ultimately impact if it needs to be refunded or not. And so I had to do a little bit of deep diving into that myself. So yeah, I've had a massive overhaul. Well, I say a massive overhaul. Again, it's that constantly tweaking. I used to write deposit because that's how I understood it. Now I say holding fee, and I call it a holding fee because now how I run my wait lists, which are reservation lists, are very different, which I never used to do before. So one is sort of like dominoes. You hit the domino and then one knocks the next, knocks the next, knocks the next. So for me, yes, paperwork wise, and also just the aesthetics of it, of making sure everything looks not branded, but I do have a logo for my dog. So I want to make sure that that's consistent. My message of my website is consistent across all of my paperwork as well. And to actually, even yesterday, Isabel, which you don't even know about, but I scrolled through Facebook and I saw this advert, and it was like how you can basically upload a picture of your dog and it makes it look really regal. Now, given what my kennel name was, I was like, oh, this is like awesome. Maybe I should be doing this. So I was like, no, I'm not going to pay. It was $20 for to create an image. I was like, I've got ChatGPT. I'm paying for it. So I said, ChatGPT. I loaded in the image. It said, write me a prompt that will make my dogs look like this. And then I put my own dogs through, which I've got. But obviously, then that meant I've now made greeting cards to give out to puppy owners that have got my most recent litter on. I need to show, and it's called the Princes because I've got 4 boys. And now what have I done? I've redesigned my whole puppy pack that I used to put in like a black folder and put all my puppy work in, I'm now having those custom printed, and it's got the picture that you've seen of Rita on the front. So that sent me down a whole rabbit hole yesterday, but it was an opportunity that I'd taken to improve what I was doing that totally feeds into my dogs and my kennel name, that I thought, let's go with it and get it done before Christmas. We got it done in a day, it's fine. And I've got stuff to give out going forward. But yeah, like that's not safeguarding, but sometimes you just need to see an opportunity and take it to improve something that you're already doing. And as I say, even the holding a deposit terminology, that was only because I saw somebody on Facebook mention it. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm not quite sure myself. So let's have a conversation with ChatGTP and let's tidy up my paperwork. And that's exactly what I've done. Is there anything your end that you feel like paperwork wise and contracts and safeguarding that you've done?
Yeah, I've really improved the guidance pack that I give to bitch owners on the occasion that they use my boy at stud. A lot of it has come hand in hand with all the huge changes we've made in and around the podcast and how we've brought pup life into fruition, and just sort of breaking everything down into more manageable chunks. So I've really overhauled that as I've gone. And like you were saying before about just do something, in the previous episode, you said just do something about your processes or your boundaries, and just start with something and you can change it as you go. And we are living proof that doing something is better than nothing, and just keep improving it as you go, because you end up with something you're so proud of, but you don't end up with anything if you don't just start. So I mean, I dread to think what number iteration I'm on of this guidance pack now. It'd be crazy. I'd probably be like iteration 57 or something. But you just keep improving these things as you go. So yeah, that's got a lot better for me. I've also improved my mating contract as well, just through lessons I've heard other people go through and see online. And I've seen a lot online actually about how people have got a stud dog and then someone's just not paid them after a mating and things like this. I've seen bitch owners ask online, what happens if it's only a slip mating? Is there a stud fee due? What happens if somebody has a litter from your stud dog and all the puppies die and they end up at 8 weeks with no puppies? And at what age did the puppies pass away? And does that make a difference with how you treat that bitch owner in terms of a return stud and things like that? There's so much you can learn from other people, and just I think having your ears open, I think, is the biggest thing. Not necessarily whether it's affected you or one of your peers, but just actually hear what people are asking and hear what they're actually saying, and taking away from that, as I said, from a stud perspective, there's been a lot I've added in that I've never had to come across. Fortunately, I've never been in a position where somebody's not paid me for a stud mating, or they've found themselves in a position that the bitch has had a lovely big litter and lost them due to fading puppy syndrome or something like that. That's nothing that I've ever had to go through. By being aware of those situations, I can ensure that I never find myself, hopefully, in those. And I think contracts and paperwork is a great way of, again, making sure that your boundaries are laid out and that your expectations are laid out. Because if both parties understand the expectation, then there will be mutual respect for the situation, and you'll find yourself not having falling outs or disagreements or challenging situations.
I agree with you in regards to the professionalism, and it sort of drives me crazy a little bit because, funny enough, even when I was honorary secretary of a breed club, I remember once we held a show, and obviously you encourage people new to the breed to attend, and I encouraged all these people, and I'd say try and say hello to everybody, plus run the show, make sure the committee are doing what they should be doing. And I remember one couple asked me, and they said, oh, so like, is this your full-time job? I was in hysterics. I was like, no, this is a hobby. Like, I'm just here because I'm passionate about the breed, and like, this isn't a job. This is just, it might seem like it to you because it seems very professional and well put together and well oiled, but that's just pure passion that's driving this. This isn't about profit. Obviously, we wanted to make profit, but that was for the club, so then we could carry on putting on events and educating people. There was no profit going in anyone's pockets. So it used to make me laugh. And very much with the dogs, the way I educate my puppy owners, I literally say I am very professional with what I do, and it's not because it's about the profit. It's about my passion for the breed and the fact that everyone else's benchmark is so low just by me just doing some basic things make me look OTT, and I I'm not OTT. This is just my standards as a person in life is at this level, and I wouldn't drop that just because I breed dogs as well. So I will raise everything I do to that standard. And because I'm not going to cut corners, I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to not do a puppy contract because 99% of the other people don't do it. So again, like whether you follow the herd or not. And I just think, yeah, don't ever be scared of being professional, because you should just be able to articulate to those people, this seems professional. Okay, yeah, I get it. It looks like proper slick, but this is fueled by passion, not by profit. And as long as you drive that message home to people, they will understand that that's what your main incentive is. Right, Isabel's just dropped off last minute, so I guess she's had enough of me, and she's run off to get all the rest of the Christmas pies that are left over. So we're going to duck off, people, because yeah, we're trying to keep these all short and snappy. Isabel's already got bored of me. So that is just to summarise day 6, which is about safeguarding and possibly looking professional in doing so, but just communicating to people around you that it's about your passion, not profit. So that's it. Right, we're going to be back. We're going to be back tomorrow. There's more lessons to come. So we've got 12 of them. So we're going to plough on regardless. Isabel's already gone, and it's a goodbye from me. Bye.